What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, that guy Mile High, tuning back in for another reaction. And this time we got the part 2 of the top 10 unsettling messages left behind on Tombstones. I enjoyed that last one so much. I was like, you know what? I'm about to do the part 2 right now. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's just funny, bro. It's like people got some crazy humor. Some people just using the Tombstones as opportunities to leave like Yelp reviews and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time of the death, there was no internet. You know what I'm saying? So the only way for you to slander or give a bad review to somebody, it was on a tombstone. So, you know, this shit is crazy. But anyway, let's jump into this, man. We got top 10 unsettling messages left behind on Tombstones, part 2. Let's go. Oh, we got to hit that full screen. And then we got it. Let's go.
What's going on, you Tomb Raiders? Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Here are the top 10 unsettling messages left behind on Tombstones, part 2. Yeah, even more spookiness. Let's
play that
Number
game,
10,
Tomb Raider?
Cursed tablets. Exploring ancient ruins is fun until, you know, you find a few cursed tablets. Those kill the mood for sure. Hate those. Back in 2020, around 30 lead tablets were found in Karamarikos, Greece. This was once Athens' main burial ground thousands of years ago, so this is a pretty sweet find. They found the tablets at the bottom of a 2,500-year-old well. But once they began translating the tablets,
that's them old school books.
Yeah, it makes a bit more sense why they found them in a well. They were cursed, definitely cursed. All of these tablets invoke the gods of the underworld. They implore the gods to cause harm to others.
Oh, and then they just unearth this shit. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's no good. You need to just go ahead and toss them shits back into the well. Go ahead and bury that shit, and you know, just let the grass and nature take its course and overgrow, and you know what I'm saying? Just let nature do its thing. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to play with that. Just put them back where you found them. Keep it pushing. See, this is why being an explorer or somebody who's curious, you know, it cannot always be good. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason the saying is curiosity killed the cat. Okay? Just saying. Some of y'all need to go ahead and keep your curiosity into check a little bit. You need to check it up a little bit. Just, and you know, don't put yourself in harm's way. Just saying. Don't put yourself in harm's way.
Excursion and you find 30 cursed tablets, I'd be like, okay, well, guess I'm quitting. Guess this is
right.
My 2-week notice
Don't shit
already.
back into
Dr.
the thing.
Jutta
And then
Storzek, director of the excavation, says they know that these tablets were to curse somebody, but whomever ordered the curse is still nameless. It's almost as if digging up ancient graves is a bad idea. I don't know. That's why we're on to part 2. Let's move on. Number 9, John Rennie. This next one here, honestly, it's not a bad idea at all. Back in 1832, a Welsh house painter named John Rennie passed away. His grave is quite unique. There's an inscription on his gravestone that's a grid, a big, massive, like a mathematical grid almost. It's 19 squares across and 15 high. In all of these spaces, there's letters that all make up the line, "Here lies John Rennie." For years, citizens thought that it was interesting, you know, just a bit of fun to be remembered by. And if that was the case, clearly it worked. Now, thousands of us are looking like, oh, John Rennie, nice, cool idea. Others have a different idea. Some speculate John was trying to trick the devil in order to protect his soul after he passed. That's a bit different than a crossword puzzle, okay? I don't know, maybe the guy just liked Wordles. You know, why does it always have to be something so dark?
That's like creepy as shit. Like, that's like a really weird cross puzzle. Like, I know in the first part 2, part 1, we was like, yo, it'd be cool if like people did like really cool weird shit on gravestones, because then when you go look for your peoples and you're visiting your peoples, you know, it may lighten up the mood a little bit to read some of the humor that people have. You know what I'm saying? But that one right there would just be like, bro, like what kind of hieroglyphic ass fucking crossword puzzle demented shit is this? Like that one wouldn't be cool, bro. That one would freak me out. I'd have to leave.
It always curses. Why is he always trying to juke out the devil? I'll do the same thing for my tombstone, but once you decode mine, it just says smash that thumbs up. Or like, what does that mean?
I like that one. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Tickle that little gooch area, the little gooch area of the subscribe button, and press it because it's free.
Number 8, remember death. Yes, can't forget about that. Death and Metaxas, can't forget. Turning the calendars back to 1794, a man named James Leeson was 38 at the time of his passing, which for the time is actually not bad at all. His grave is in New York, and it's one of the most visited of all times. There aren't any crossword puzzles or anything like that, just a few symbols. So, a little bit lighter. That's all there is on an otherwise standard headstone. There's an hourglass with wings, a flaming urn, and a stonecutter's tool, of course suggesting he was once a mason. There's one line at the top that was decoded a century later. In 1889, somebody figured this message out that appeared to be a Masonic cipher, somehow connected to tic-tac-toe. Yeah, odd. The message decoded was, remember death. Yeah, we're not forgetting anytime soon, my guy.
Remember death while you're reading my tombstone. Like, the very obviously thinking about death, reading and sitting in front of a tombstone. How do you think about anything else other than that? If you're sitting at a tombstone, bro, like you're in the very epitome of like that thought process in the context of death at that point. Like, what are you saying to me right now?
Now that we know this, those symbols become a bit more eerie. Hourglass with wings, that symbolizes time passing quickly. The flaming urn represents a soul's immortality. Lovely, lovely stuff. I'm just gonna have that cool S that we always used to draw in elementary school. Number 7, Paris catacombs.
like diamond
yes,
S?
of course we have to include some catacomb creepiness in a part 2. These catacombs date back to the late 1700s, okay? When the city's cemeteries
odd, bro.
were piling up.
I want to know whose bright ass idea was to be like, you know what? We're going to take all the specific parts of people's bones and create walls out of it. These are going to be the foundation and the structure of what keeps the walls or the ceilings from caving in on us and shit. Like, that is the oddest, like, just weirdest, creepiest shit ever. Like, I would never go do that, bro. I for real draw a line there. It's one thing to go ghost hunting. It's another thing to go put yourself in, like, the hells of the gates of hell. Like, that's what kind of weird.
I mean that in a literal sense.
Not happening.
So officials began moving contents from all over the city. They moved them all around the city to these abandoned mines. The catacombs were then opened in 1809. What a fun family excursion that must have been. Awesome. Bring nose plugs for the fam. They designed the catacombs with the walls of skulls to ensure that visitors would meditate on death. Yeah, I'm sure everybody who visits thinks of nothing else. I'm pretty sure we nailed it there with the wall of skulls. That ought to do it. In order to ensure this was the vibe of the room, there's also a phrase carved above the entrance. It translates to, "Stop, this is the empire of the dead."
Of course.
Cool. Say no more, you got it, I'm on my way. There's also another message right underneath, and it says, "Stop in the name of love." And you're like, oh, that's a bit nicer. I'm just kidding. The second one was a lie. Number 6, a strange warning. Okay, just because we've been talking about graves does not mean that these messages have to be written or drawn out. Sometimes it can be as simple as leaving animal bones on the ground. That's a message. That ought to speak for itself, I'd say. No? You see that, I'm like, oh, see ya, on my way. This is your cave, no problem. I'll find the next one over. In St. Augustine, for example, the remains of a donkey were found buried underground. And judging from the skull, it had clearly been hunted down by humans. That's not the mysterious part. The mysterious part is that all of the bones were carefully separated, and there's no marks to suggest that any of these tools were used. So researchers believe this donkey wasn't even used for food. The limbs were placed to point north and south. They used a donkey as a compass. How rude is that? Of all the ways to go out. What if you wanted to point east or west, you know? Give this guy a choice.
That shit is some wild shit. He said they used the donkey as a compass. I mean, when you got to do what you got to do, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're trying to make sure you make it home and shit, hey, sorry, donkey, you know what I'm saying? I got to make sure that you're pointing the right direction so when I see you again, I know where to go. Like,
not a fan of the north or south. Donkeys in that area of Florida in the 17th century, that's not bizarre by any means. But the way that the bones were buried, that's very odd. That's an odd message right there. Besides north and south, literally pointing. We'll never know. Number 5, mythical carvings. Back in 2014, a 1,700-year-old cemetery was discovered along the Silk Road, which are these ancient trade routes, ancient highways rather, connecting China and the Roman Empire. In the city of Kucha, which is now northwest China, this cemetery was found along with 10 ancient tombs, one of which was referred to as M3. M3 didn't have any haunting messages per se, but it did contain several carvings of mythical creatures. There's the white tiger of the west, the black turtle of the north, the vermilion bird of the south, so far so lovely, and then there's the azure dragon of the east. So a little scarier on the back 9 there. That dragon part was a bit jarring. These mythical carvings represent different seasons and the heavens, but what could the other 6 carvings mean? Perhaps depictions of hell? Who's to say? Number 4, I mean, the Ring of Sakanya.
In that side of the planet, and in those times, you know, they had gods for all sorts of things, right? Like there was they had a monster for every direction. You know what I'm saying? Like any direction you went in, there was a monster to represent it. So yeah, there was some sort of mythical creature or legend. It seems like that just kind of fit every scenario, every context of every situation that you may find yourself in. They had a reason for it. You know what I'm saying? That's all that was. That's all it was.
One ring to rule them all. And by rule, of course, I mean curse you and your entire family. This is why you don't steal from ancient tombs. Right here, listen up. This 12-gram gold ring, for starters, is massive. Its diameter is 25 millimeters, so unless you're wearing some sort of gauntlet, this ring is definitely going to fall off your finger. Or you're Dave Bautista, then that would probably fit, I don't know. The ring had first been found in 1785. A farmer was plowing a field in Silchester Village, a village west of London known for its grim history. In 45 AD, ancient Romans invaded that same site, and come the 17th century, it was completely abandoned. The ring was mighty and even held an inscription, a Latin inscription, of course, and it read, Senequion vivas in diem. What does that mean? Well, we'll come back to it. When 1929 rolled around, new details surfaced, or resurfaced rather. The data from the ring matched an excavation that was done in the early 1900s, less than 100 miles away. A place called RENIE. That's where this ring is from. At the same site, a tablet was found recalling the Celtic god of healing and hunting, and how his favorite ring got stolen. Yep, there it is. Someone's pissed. That's the god right now. He hears me talking about the ring and he's like, give it back.
Right.
In case you're wondering why this rings a bell, Lord of the Rings was inspired by this legend. The tablet also says, may he who wears the name of Sicanianus not have health until he brings the ring back to the Temple of Nodens. Yeah, let's get that ring back ASAP, please.
Yeah, that sounds
would be a lot
nuts.
quicker than Lord of the Rings.
This is why you don't steal from
I'm
people,
gonna put it in my Uber right now. Number
Don't
3,
be stealing.
Robert
Don't be out
Clay
here stealing
Allison.
shit. You never know what you're
Sometimes
stealing.
you decipher a message
stealing
on
a
a
curse.
tomb and it's peaceful.
Stealing
It's
your demise.
embracing the afterlife, especially ancient Egyptian tombs. The paintings you'll find, they're jaw-dropping. They're gorgeous. And then there's a tomb from the wild, wild west. It's not the same. It's not as much love in this tomb. For example, Robert Clay Allison. This man lived from 1840 to 1887. He was known as a rancher, and of course, he loved
So he
to
only
duel.
lived for 47
On his
years?
tombstone, it reads, Robert Clay Allison. He never killed a man that did not need killing. That's so Western. That is the
He never killed a man that did not need killing. All right, shit. Oh, wow,
Wild West tombstone
That's
ever.
why he ended
The
up
first
in
time I
his
read it, I read that in
47
Sam
years on
Elliott's
this bitch.
voice. This guy, he loved to duel. I can't even do it. My voice can't go that deep. He loved to duel, I guess. I don't know. But he ended up dying from bad luck. Yeah, a wagon ended up rolling over his head in 1887 when he was 46 years old. What a way to go. The guy also didn't get a headstone for 90 years. And after 90 years, that's the best way they could sum up his entire life. Never killed a man who didn't need killing. Okay. Number 2. Message
That's a
from
hell of a
Egyptian
way to be
afterlife.
summed up right
We're all
there.
curious about what happens after you die, but nobody celebrates the end of life like ancient Egyptians. Like I mentioned earlier, they would paint doors, leave valuables.
all
Any
sorts
new
of shit.
tomb
Look
we
at
discover
how, like,
provides more
intricate some of
hints
them
as to what lies beyond. An
designs
ancient
are.
necropolis was discovered a few years ago in Egypt, and it contains dozens of coffins
What kind of
and
shit?
a
Look,
necklace that holds
I'm not crawling through none of the, like, what kind of shit? Like, you ain't got no room to barely do anything in there, bro. Like, I'm not doing none of that.
message from the afterlife. This site is around 2,000 years old, and they're in the process of excavating it as we speak. But so far, the tombs and artifacts found belong to an ancient priestess. A message from the afterlife is pretty spectacular. Just, you know, don't let Rose from the Titanic near the necklace, or else she'll toss it over. That was everybody during Titanic. No. Why would she do that? And finally, number 1. Terracotta Army. We're covering all the tombs this week, so of course in a part 2 we have to finish with the Terracotta Army. This is a massive haunting tomb. The tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, China's first emperor. In this tomb we can find 8,000 statues, but they all have unique carvings on their faces, as if to suggest these are custom statues. All 8,000 of them. The emperor believed that after he had passed on, he would still have to face the spirits of all of his enemies. So he wanted to be prepared even after death. However, the emperor decided to close the tomb forever before the workers even had a chance to get out. He was worried his enemies had found out, so there's now lots of statues and dark history in this one. The dark message here is that the emperor felt like he needed another army for whatever lies after death. That in itself is pretty haunting. Why did he believe that? Why was so much work gone into something for after the fact?
That
Now I'm
shit is
scared of
wild,
death.
bro.
That's great. Look at you
That's
guys
like
have done to me.
some
Well, now that I'm
Return of the
fearful
Mummy
of
shit right
death
there.
and
He's got
what comes
his
after,
undead army
guess
and
we'll,
shit.
guess
Like,
we'll
what
talk
the
next
fuck?
time. Those are the top 10 unsettling messages left behind on Tombstones
That shit
Part
is,
2.
like he said, that
You
ain't
wanna-
even a message. It's just like that's like a weird paranoia and shit. This motherfucker locked people in before they could get out, trying to set his shit up. Like, come on, bruh. Yeah, that shit's wild. Anyways, man, y'all let me know what y'all's favorite video on this one was. I think the funniest one, honestly, was just the one, was it the third one or whatever? He's like the Western one. That shit was funny as shit, bro. He never killed a man that didn't need killing. Like, oh, all right. Anyways, y'all love me. I love y'all too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all tickle its gooch. You know what I'm saying? Because it's free. You know what I'm saying? And the subscribe button appreciates it, you know? So tickle that gooch area. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that bell because it's, you know, nice to do that to get the notifications. And it makes the whole process of you even, you know, subscribing make sense. You know what I'm saying? And it's also free. So, yeah, do what you got to do, players. I love y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.